Yeah, this is a request from Blockbuster. It's actually his video. It's his tribute to John Bonham. 40 years gone, which is pretty crazy. 40 years. But yeah, who's still not a drummer has overtook him yet. He is probably the first drummer of doing these reactions that I was listening to, and I'll say Neil Peart's comes up with him, but he doesn't overtake John Bonham. Like, I haven't heard a drummer yet that's topped John Bonham's. Well, especially his Moby Dick, but just his whole style of way of playing with a band anyway. But yeah, so this is a tribute to him, and yeah, this was made by Blockbuster, who he's one of the originals, I think, that started watching my channel back in the day. So yeah, this is his video. He made this. But yeah, let's go. Every time it gets me. Let's go. Alright, bruv, that was a fire start to this video. That was great. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting beside a guy who is possibly the best rock and roll drummer on earth.
Moby Dick has such a great riff to it as well. Like, you really can see they love John Bonham, that they gave him that riff basically, because you could absolutely work that into a song. But the fact that they gave that to the start of his drum solo shows you just a respect thing for him, because that's such a great riff. And then yeah, John Bonham goes off. And I've still not seen that topped. I've still not seen Moby Dick topped. Mm.
John Bonham! John Bonham! John Bonham! 130 pounds of glory, John Bonham! John comes from a circus family.
It seemed like there was nothing that John Bonham couldn't do. He just could do everything, and in a way that was so powerful.
Yeah, what's the Sesame Street character that plays the drums? He's that. Like, when you see like Sesame Street where they put the like, I can't think, it's like a monster with a big hairy monster in it. His arms is just a blur playing drums. Like, when you watch John Bonham play, like, that's a cartoon, but that's how he looks. Like, his arms is going so fast. It's so visually impressive as much as it is the sound of it. It's like, you can see it in these, like, his arms are just like blurs. It's honestly like it's not real, like he's been computer generated and sped up. You don't even see it.
It must have taken you years to learn to play like that, did it?
Not really.
Amazing feel.
He was confident. He wasn't rad. I mean, he got ladder as the bigger bass drums that he used to order from Ludwig in Chicago. Once he got free drums from Ludwig, there was no holding him back. He just used to get bigger and bigger bass drums. And sometimes two. But we used to take the one bass drum away when if he went out to get a cup of tea. If he got two bass drums set up, we used to steal the one. Because he could do more on one bass drum than anybody can do on two.
To me, hands down, John Bonham's the best rock drummer ever. The style and the sound was so identifiable to one person.
Yeah.
Who do you admire as drummers around the world?
And I think everybody's favourite rock drummer has always been John Bonham. He certainly was mine, and he was a good friend as well. So he's very sorely missed. Nobody's ever really come up with the kind of power and the playing expression that he's done. I mean, there's John Bonham's way up there, and then everybody else is way, way down, in my opinion.
John Bonham, God, he's still like at the top of my list, and he's at the top of many drummers' lists.
That is.
Bonzo's favourite music was actually the slower Motown stuff. It was either James Brown or the real sweet soul music, which he loved. This is why all those bands that sort of say, or supposedly sound like us, never get it right. Because it's all, bash, bash, you know, and there's never all this, if you listen to what Bonzo did, you hear all this little stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'd like to say at this point that I think football's a load of bollocks.
Before retiring to their hotels for hijinks, which for Led Zepp drummer the late John Bonham often meant a spot of guerrilla warfare.
4 o'clock in the morning, there was this huge explosion. I thought I'd been attacked by some Arab terrorists. The room was full of smoke, and Bonzo, followed by Billy and Jonesy, came through the door, and when the shock died down, it turned that they put a quarter of a stick of dynamite under my bed and blew the whole lot to bits.
I mean, John Bonham, Led Zeppelin's drummer, was just a nice, quiet lad who looked more like a pipe fitter than a rock star before he hopped on the Zeppelin. And then his chums started busting up hotel rooms and throwing TVs out of windows. And John says,
to come from the sort of background we were in, and when we first came to America, I mean, I used to see things here, I just couldn't believe it. So I used to just go, bzzz.
We would go for the family holiday in the south of France. I remember one incident, he disappeared for about 36 hours, I think. Mum was worried sick, didn't have, no cell phones back then. Apparently he bumped into Oliver Reed. Oh, I know this wonderful little British pub down the road, John. So that was it, they were off, and then met up with Ringo and Peter Sellers. He'd shaved Ringo's head and eyebrows off, and then got into a food fight in a Chinese restaurant in Monte Carlo, and were arrested. Now, could you imagine the cop telling his superintendent, who do you have? He goes, well, I have the drummer with Led Zeppelin, I have the drummer with the Beatles, Inspector Clouseau, Peter Sellers, and Oliver Reed. Have you been drinking, young man? That was that version of the Rat Pack.
I think it's fair to say there hasn't been a drummer anywhere near him since in rock, certainly.
No, absolutely not. No. I think every drummer would be the first to admit that.
There's never been anybody any better. He's just an amazing musician. And so sensitive that all the brash, turmoil that was around us,
See what I mean? It's honestly like watching a Bruce Lee film or something. His hands is just...
sensitive that all the brash, you know, turmoil that was around us, it was...
Yeah, he is a legend. He is a legend. That was good, though, because there's a lot of things I didn't know about him. Like I say, Led Zeppelin is still not. So I might start, because I've been doing it with Queen. I might start watching more of these like Led Zeppelin background things. Because I don't really know a lot about the band and their kind of story. But yeah, that was interesting. That was really good edit as well. Blockbuster, you killed that. But yeah, it's pretty much unanimous then. I think every drummer pretty much gives the nod to John Bonham as being that guy who is the one that and whoever said it was right about him. It's his little things he's doing where, see, I'd have said more jazz, like a more jazz influence thing rather than soul or Motown. That's what I thought he was going to say. He was into them jazz drummers, because he has that too. He has that kind of that odd jazz beat and the little, like the mate you said, them little things he does, like snare things where it's not just big rock drum beats. Like he has little intricate drumming, and you know he has anyway because he plays with the guitar. He follows the guitar, which is not an easy thing for a drummer to do, and he does it perfectly. So you know he knows how to be intricate to the point of doing a guitar riff with drums almost, like, or near enough. Do you know what I mean? But great, that was a great thing. I do want to watch more on Zeppelin. I want to watch some more backstory of, yeah, all of them, to be honest. Because, like I say, now I know a lot of their music. I'm up to the 5th album now. I'm going to do the 5th album next. But so I know quite a few of their songs now, and I know way more songs I've ever have. But I just don't know these little back things. I know people have said about John Bonham though, he's very quiet. Like someone in France sent me that interview, and it's one of the rare interviews that there is of him or something. So it shows he was, yeah, quite a quiet person. I also agree with him about the football thing. Although when I was younger, I loved football, but now I just don't see. I don't see the point of it. But yeah, great video, great tribute. Because it did. I will say this video definitely gave you a feel. Like it gave me one. It gave me more information. Two, it was. I was engaged in it the whole time. It was put together well. But yeah, the third one is, it was just, yeah, well made thing, and it gave me backstory that I just don't know. It gave me some more understanding of him. So I'm definitely gonna have to do some more Zeppelin things like this, like I've been doing with Queen. But anyway, yeah, that's the reaction.